And welcome back to the studio. Thanks for joining us. Alongside me today is Joleon, Lescott and Phil Jagielka. And Phil, I'm going to begin with you, of course, being the Everton man in the studio. Must be delighted with the first 45 minutes there.
Yeah, we sort of guessed what sort of game it would be. I think for the majority of the first part, especially the first half, the man of the match was going to be Jordan Pickford. But, you know, one big mistake. And, you know, fantastic cross, good finish, and exactly what Everton would have wanted. They've tried to go after Man City. Man City have had a few decent chances, but 1-0 at half-time is exactly what they wanted.
We could definitely hear the atmosphere kind of grow throughout that kind of half there. And obviously City, as Phil said, great first 20 minutes. Probably going to be disappointed going in at half-time, not just being 1-0 down, but felt by the end of the half as well, they'd kind of lost that control they'd shown in the first 20 minutes. Do you think that's fair to say, Joleon?
Yeah, definitely. I think they had opportunities to score. Probably should have done better. Nunes, chance springs to mind. Alvarez was unfortunate, but yeah, when you go to Goodison, you want to keep the crowd quiet as possible, and they've done that with the play and not allowed in Everton to build momentum, whether it's pressing, tackling, chances created for them. So it was kind of in their own hands, and all of a sudden, uncharacteristic mistake from Rodri, and then it changes. It obviously even if they didn't score that, I think it would have changed the whole vibe and atmosphere due to the momentum, just a quick swift, and all of a sudden now it's kind of less controlled from a City point of view. Definitely.
You mentioned it there, Phil. Pickford was having a kind of great opening minutes. There's a couple chances. You mentioned there we had Nunes, almost was like a 4-on-1. Ball gets played to him. Disappointed with that shot, and then great save from Pickford there with the Alvarez follow-up as well, getting his toe on it.
You know you need little bits of luck, and I'm not saying it was a lucky save from Jordan, but especially the second one. You know, he's going the opposite way, he flings a leg out. It could go anywhere. He's got enough of a deflection for it to go around the post, but they're the moments Man City needed. I think if they get the first goal, it's a really, really tough afternoon for Everton. So to Joel before the game, I said if Everton manage to get the first goal, the game is going to get a little bit uglier, it's going to get slower. And like you said, you can hear the fans. That's the atmosphere, you know, the Evertonians want at Goodison, and that doesn't happen at 1-0 down very often. You know, it's normally when you've got something to hold on to. They've got the players, they've got the confidence that they can keep clean sheets, and, you know, they have had to rely on Jordan a little bit, but you're playing against Man City, that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen. And then they kind of did grow into the game, as I say, before we get to the goal. Ake, I thought, had a couple of brilliant headers there, and even that one in particular from the corner. I was able to ask you boys, it's such a difficult header that there. I mean, so before the goal, Everton did start to knock a little bit, didn't they, Joleon?
Yeah, I think in the build-up to the game, they would have thought set pieces would have been an opportunity to score goals, and they created a few. But yeah, that header from Ake was so important. You could see whoever was coming in behind him was going to have a clear header at goal, because Edison was kind of covering the first half of the goal. But yeah, after there, they scored, and then Jack has another opportunity in great technique and a great save. And like I said, you can just feel the momentum changing and them gaining confidence. And it's not often you say this, probably half-time come at a good time for Man City. Probably go in there and to think about how well they did play at the first 20 minutes and all of a sudden create new ways, because Pep is the best coach overall, but I think he's one of his super strengths. He's recognising what the game needs to change.
Just with the goal, before we kind of get to the finish, would you put it down to City kind of been the master of their own downfall, which seems to have been a theme of games when we've dropped points? It's kind of been our own fault rather than the other teams.
Oh, definitely. And again, the personnel is probably the bit you wouldn't associate with the mistake is Rodri, but the playing out from the back is, we can't complain or be negative about that, because we've created so many chances from taking an extra pass, taking an extra touch and creating opportunities. So in regards to trying to manipulate the ball and keep possession near to their goal, yeah, they take the responsibility to do that, and they do it so well. But in terms of the actual mistake in regards to Rodri, whether it's misplaced pass, he slipped, that's the only thing you could criticise them. But also from a player's perspective, when it is that, and you know that doesn't happen that often, you can kind of disregard that from your mindset. You can kind of say, well, I'm not going to do that. I don't do that every week. It's a mistake that you kind of shouldn't be doing. Like, he should be controlling that. And like I said, it's just one of them things.
Is there something in there, obviously individually maybe, that, you know, we don't see Rodri do it, but I'm thinking now, and I think it was the Palace game, you know, Foden mistake to give the ball away, then go in for the tackle. I think it was one of the Tottenham games, it was a Bernardo ball that he gave away. It's another mistake. So maybe individuals not making mistakes all the time. But is it a thing when the team are suddenly making mistakes that is kind of, there's an energy around that's causing that to happen, possibly?
Potentially, yeah. Obviously, no one means to make mistakes, especially ones that lead to goals.
Of course.
The only thing you will say is it doesn't happen more than it happens, if that makes sense. So that he would attempt that take or pass 9 times out of 10 and it works. But when you're so close to the goal, you tend to get punished when you make a mistake. And as I said, we're not calculating or adding up how many times he's been successful at that.
Yeah.
And the team shape doesn't warrant you being able to recover. So for other teams, their fullback, Ake, in this instance, probably is in there and gets a chance to make a tackle. But because City are so expansive and it's kind of like if they get out, they're through, it also doesn't allow you to recover. So that's probably the kind of blessing and the curse.
Yeah, it's kind of a double whammy, isn't it? For Everton, though, I mean, it was Jack Harrison with the goal. Really well taken finish, and then also had the second attempt there as well. 5 minutes later, great save from Edison. Really big player there. He's a name that City fans will know. He signed him from New York City, went to Leeds, and now seems to be shining at Everton, Phil. Yeah,
it was a good signing. They were desperate for someone to play wide. Him and McNeil this season have struck up a good bond either side to create a lot of goals and the work rate they put through. And I think even look at the goal, you know, the mistakes happen, but Everton on the front foot. They've had, I think it was Beto and Harrison both in the middle of the box for the ball across. So, you know, an Everton team maybe a season or 2 seasons ago maybe would have been that far back that mistakes like that, little mistakes won't have mattered to a goal. But I think Sean Dyche has got them, you know, believing that basically we will press teams, we will make them make mistakes. As good a team as Man City are, they will make 1 or 2 mistakes, and it's all about taking the chances when it comes their way. But, you know, good finish from Jack. He's equally adept with both feet. As you can see, he had another left foot shot, which Edison tipped wide. But no, it'll be tough now. The only positive I see for Man City, they had a similar game, I think, at Luton away, where they were losing at half time, and they managed to get a goal, pretty sharpish and stuff. So, you know, that I'm sure that'll be part of the sort of team talk, and you know, it's probably going to be a good big 10-15 minutes. This start of the second half.
Start of the second half. At the end of that first half, very disappointing and sad to see John Stones going off with a little knock that he picked up there. So big, we spoke about it before the show, big loss that for City. I mean, we had Guardiola come in, so Akanji's moved to centre-half, but sad to see that for John. Yeah,
for him personally, just to be injured, any player to be injured is disappointed, but for John, he seems to can't get the rhythm of games this season. Maybe a toll of or consequence of his tremendous season last year, but in regards to the timing of it, it's never great to lose any player, but when Diaz isn't available, and it always seems to be the same positions when you're losing 2 or 3 players, and not many teams have the strength in depth, but City obviously have a high number of defenders and a high number of quality there, so I'm sure Guardiola will come in and give a good account of himself, and Ake will play in a more familiar role, but just gutted for John Stones because, as I said, he hasn't been able to start his season, and hopefully the next time he's available, it's consistent and he's there to stay. Yeah, get that rhythm. Hopefully it'll be a speedy recovery, definitely. Now, if you were with us before kick-off, you'll know that we've been running a little competition. We started it back in the Liverpool game where we were giving you the chance to win 2 tickets to come to a game at the Etihad Stadium. Els launched the competition. You had a question to answer. I can say that thousands of you entered, so thank you so much for getting involved. But it is now my pleasure to get to reveal who the winner is of that competition. So, without further ado, I can reveal that the winner is Bradley Good, who is from Wythenshawe in Manchester. Bradley, if you're watching, congratulations, mate. You're going to be coming to the Etihad Stadium. Who knows as well, we might ask you to come on Matchday Live. I believe as well, I've just been told that you've not ever been to the Etihad Stadium before. So, well, a well-deserved winner there. Congratulations, mate. And don't worry, we'll be getting in touch with you and we'll sort out you coming to the Etihad in the new year. Congratulations, mate. Speaking of you guys getting in touch with the show, you've also been sending in some brilliant questions, so I think I've got time probably to send a couple to our guests. This one came from Isabella, and she wanted to know, what are your favourite goals you've scored? So favourite goal you've scored in your career and favourite goal you've scored in your career?
I think it's quite an easy one. I managed to score the cup end as an equaliser for Everton versus Liverpool.
Oh, I mean, that doesn't get better than that, does it?
It's quite nice.
Have you seen the goal, though?
No, I've seen the goal. Yeah, we were going to try and show it before the shot. No, it's not a goal.
You can't just say it at the cup, like left, like outside of the right foot, like screamer.
It's easy if someone. It's better if someone else said it, doesn't it? Hopefully, I'll know which one Joel's
is. The after effects. The goal is the goal.
It's the goal.
Okay.
Yeah, if that was at Goodison, that would have been okay.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Jesus, Joleon, what about you? I mean, earlier on, we were actually saying before when back in Wolves, you were banging the goals for fun there when you were at left back.
Even at Everton, I scored.
Everton, when you first come in, you were the main goal scorer.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
you kept telling me every week.
Well, proofs in the pudding. The proofs in the pudding.
France,
yeah, I've scored a couple of goals. Yeah, that's to be fair. Scoring for England, like
I was there.
That was different. That was a different feeling. So it wasn't my
in
best goal.
In the competition as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying in the Euros. And
therefore.
I probably only realised how significant that was when I retired, and I'm watching the Euros as a fan, and then you see someone score, and it's like the whole nation's celebrating that. I was like, oh. I kind of had a moment like that. So
it felt like that though when you scored the whole atmosphere of the stadium. Because normally international games, it's never quite the same because there's so many different players from different clubs. Yeah. But I think when you go to a tournament,
everyone's just
it was crazy. Even the bench erupted and all sorts. So I think
that was my biggest goal because again, something you dream about. Like I've scored better goals than that. But
have you?
Wow. Yeah, but no, in terms of the goal, just that. Scoring for England.
Unbelievable. Yeah. I'll tell you what as well, we do have to say, when you're done obviously watching the show, make sure you do go and look at Phil's goal in the Cop End because he will...
And Joel, come on, Joel.
Yeah, and Joleon as well, yeah. We'll see, we'll try and pull that up at full time.
Wow.
Right. So you know what it's like with the team.
Callum?
Speak to
Again, I got to hold on that, to be fair. I got to give him props.
Nah, you okay?
Yeah. Callum, he did me well today. He knows why.
We had this one come in from Zach, which I thought was quite interesting, which is he wanted to know, how do you stay motivated and focused during long seasons and as well given, the busy schedule as well? What does it come down to?
I think it's just something you get used to. I think you just sort of get climatised into... It does take over your life, and it is what it is. Obviously, when you're playing, when I was at Everton, I've played quite a few European competitions. It was Thursdays and Sundays. The week was that's just the way it was. And obviously, cup games and stuff, 2 games weeks. I prefer playing games to training, so I was more than happy not to have to train. When you're a defender and training, it's not quite as much fun as it is when you're a striker.
Yeah.
So I quite enjoyed the couple of games a week because it sped things along. But I think fatigue-wise and all sorts, I think.
So you only get tired or feel knocks when you're losing, don't you?
Yeah, when you're not happy.
Yeah, you're not happy. Yeah. So, but in regards to staying focused, it was like you were doing something you loved, and I think we were from a generation when that's all you played for was because you loved to do it. Obviously, you had the talent to do it, but it was never a chore. It was never a struggle to motivate yourself to go to training or like I never regret making the decision of trying to become a footballer, so it was pretty easy for me to stay motivated.
Yeah, because you made that choice yourself.
And I loved it. Like, and I always say, most players are fans that are lucky enough to make it. So if you say to any fan, what would you rather do? Even if it's playing for your rival team, you just want to play.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Lovely answer. Thank you, gents. Well, listen, we can see there the boys are there in the tunnel, so we'll take a pause here in the Matchday live studio. Alistair Mann's with Andy Morrison on your commentary team. I'm going to hand over to him next, and then I'll be seeing you all at full time. And congratulations again to Bradley, who has won those 2 tickets. Thank you for joining us. It's now back over to Alistair Mann and Andy Morrison, who've got your commentary on the official Manchester City app. It is Everton 1, Manchester City 0.
Thank you, Kel. City players making their way down the tunnel and trailing by a goal to 0. The first half statistics will tell you just how dominant they were. 74% possession, 12 attempts to 4, 4 attempts on target to 2, and yet Everton lead by a goal to 0. The rain is